Hey, hi everybody. Shilpa here, back again with author masterclass number 3 called The Daily Tasks for Writing a Book. Now, if you're watching me live, please stop by and say hello. If you're watching the replay, please comment #replay and jot down what are your key learnings, whatever you're loving, and that will serve you as a reminder so you don't have to watch the video again, but it will also help so many others who are just glancing through, and they might just get the snippet, they might just get the golden nugget that they need for the day. So that's that. And I have some crisp notes. Okay. Yep. Very notes that pop up. Hey Sandra, nice to have you here. Thank you for joining. So please know that if I'm looking like that, I'm actually looking at my notes. So let's get started, right? Now, the last 2 Wednesdays that I've run these masterclasses, the first Wednesday, that is on the 7th of August, was all about mindset and messaging and, clarifying your one key message, right? The second week, that is the 14th of August, was all about modeling and packaging your information. How can you package your information best so that it serves your audience and yourself, okay? The third one, right. So I'm just getting some notifications of some people trying to join the live, but it's all good. Today is the third class where we've done the mindset and we've done the structure or the system, and now we're getting to implement the system. Okay, so who here, by any chance, Sandra, are you in the, it will be nice to have a conversation, that's why. I mean, please don't feel like I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah, are you by any chance in the middle of writing a book, or have you aspired to? Yeah. So while I think there's a bit of a time lag, while you respond, I will keep going, right? So if you have, and if you can throw in some questions as to what are your top productivity challenges or what are your top execution challenges when it comes to writing your book, it will help me make the class more relevant. But for now, I've got something that I want to share with you, right? So as much as we are bored and done with productivity and planning out routines, that's what this is all about. And if we go to greater depths, then really mindset is what this is all about. Because the more solid is your mindset foundation, the better will be your implementation. So Sandra, thank you for putting this in here. You're saying I have many stories and I would like to create some spoken word books. Okay, so I don't quite understand what you mean by spoken word books. Spoken word books. Okay, if you can clarify, that'll be great. But otherwise, we can just have a private conversation separately. But it sounds interesting. Yeah. So, the first thing that I wanted to start with, think of it as a pyramid. So there's a pyramid which has a foundation level, and then there's the next level, and then there's the neck, and then there's the tip of the iceberg. Oh, for people who can't read, that's amazing. Wow. Okay. I will have to expand my awareness about that. Yeah, great. Okay, so let's talk about the first level of the pyramid, right? And I'm going to call it your karma. Okay, So these days I've been referring to the word karma a lot, and of course it's a Hindi word, but it's used very widely and known, globally, universally in the world these days. But I'm going to break it down into three types, okay? So a karma is of three types. The first one is your prescribed action, right? Which means these are the actions that your best self, that your ultimate self, that your spiritual self knows that it needs to take, to realize your full potential. Because why not, right? And why anything less than 100%? So that's your prescribed actions, right? And in your current role. So if currently you have ventured out on on a journey of becoming an author, then your prescribed action, that means your duty and your responsibility, is to write, right? You've done this decision, you have taken the decision that I want to write a book. So after taking the decision, if you're procrastinating, basically you're not living in alignment with your prescribed actions, right? So that's part one of karma. The second type of karma is capricious actions, right? And by capricious actions, it means that one is operating according to their own whims and fancies without having a specific, hey, thank you, Sandra, without having any specific commitment or consistency, just acting when they feel like it, not doing anything when they feel like it, procrastinating, being less than their ultimate selves. That's capricious actions, just, yeah, doing stuff randomly, not being predictable, right? That's capricious actions. That's capricious karma. And then the third type of karma is inaction, which is basically not taking any action at all. So glad to know it's amazing you. Hey Mayur, where have you been? We have not caught up for ages and ages. So I hope you're well, Mayur. Good to see you, and thanks for joining. So that was the second. So basically there's prescribed actions and capricious actions, and the third one is inaction, right? So these are the three categories in which karma is broken down. And I'm like referring to the Bhagavad Gita, which we don't have to go into the depth of, but that's my source right now, So I want you to, reflect, take a step back and ask yourself, where am I operating from? And right now, in me, paying heed to my inner critic, or doubting my work, or doubting my message, or doubting my good enoughness, am I living at the inaction level, or am I taking capricious action, or am I taking the highest level of my prescribed duties, right? So this is basically the conversation you need to have with yourself once and for all. And of course, you will need a reminder, you will need a revision, you will need to kind of, revisit your commitment with yourself every now and then. In the beginning, it might be daily. You might have to set up a reminder to, just maybe write the word karma to remind you of the entire theory, of the entire concept. And like, oh my God, no, I have to take prescribed action, right? So that's the work that you're going to do with yourself, with your mind, okay? As well as certain beliefs. And like, of course, it has not come easy to me. I have consciously worked and struggled and explored that there's so many good qualities, or so many, good to do things that I would always, like as a perfectionist, I would want to do them all and pretty much become an overnight saint. But then I would do it for like 2 days, and then it would all be so overwhelming that the next day The third day, I would just put my hands up in the air and I'm like, this is too hard. I'm just giving up. Like, it's just too hard to track. Am I being truthful? Am I being honest? Am I being kind? Am I being productive? Am I being fearless? So the prescribed list is huge. So you have to find out what is it that you need the most to keep you going on your mission, right? And for me, there's one more thing which I didn't write in the notes, but the few qualities that I remind myself of every single day are uniqueness, my uniqueness, that I'm not standing, I'm not still standing. I have not been left on the planet because I have nothing unique to share. I'm here because I have my uniqueness and I still haven't expressed it enough. My job is not done. So I have a purpose, and yeah. So thank you, Sandra. Your love is just coming through. Thank you. So the first one is that I'm unique enough and that there is a job to be done. It's not done yet. I'm still standing, right? That's one reminder which I give myself every day. And the second one is that of belonging. And when you cannot find belonging in people, find belonging in the Supreme. And you might address or you might connect with the Supreme in any way. I believe in God, and I just every day through a very short, simple prayer, or just like even without words, just folding my hands or, imagining, just take a few moments to pray and connect with the Supreme. And that's where I find my belonging, that I'm good. I'm good. I have a friend. I have a cheerleader. I have a supporter. I have someone who wishes the best for me. Right? So very, very powerful. Like as basic as it sounds, like I teach this to my 3-year-old as well. But I think each one of us can do with a reminder of this, right? So that, and then the other ones are that I'm loved and that I'm valued, right? That I'm loved and then I'm valued. But there's a very fine line when we talk about being loved and being valued. When we want to believe that I am loved and my work is valued, especially when it comes to our writing and the message that we're sharing, immediately it's human tendency to seek validation or seek evidence of this belief, right? And there's nothing wrong in validating and confirming a belief, but everything is wrong in seeking that evidence outside. So if you are writing something and if you feel inspired to share a snippet of your writing on Facebook and then nobody likes it, then you take that as feedback that, oh my God, I'm not good enough. What was I thinking? What were you even thinking, Shilpa? Why did you just put that out there? Yeah, you just thought it was too good. So all these things, they really have no meaning. Like, you have been given some words through inspiration, you penned them down, and then you're trying to make sense of them by seeking external validation. So really, the world liking, loving, sharing, wowing, commenting means nothing at all. So it's really important that you get clear on that, because the more you are attached to that outcome of getting instant gratification, it's a very vicious cycle. It's a very dangerous cycle, because then you're only good enough as long as you're putting stuff out there, right? But the truth is that you are good enough whether or not you're writing, whether or not you're putting stuff out there. Although you must be writing, you must be sharing your message. That's the opportunity you have in this physical life. right? Like the message, the purpose that you have, you did have even when you were a spirit. But now that you have a body and you have these physical tools around, you have more opportunity and convenience to share the message and, make it, manifest it, make it tangible, bring it to physical form, right? So why not use the opportunity? So, again, I'll tie this back in with the karma philosophy. When you're putting your work out there, remember that it's none of your business to compare or to judge, right? Judging is not a part of your karma. Whether it's judging yourself or it's judging others, or expectations is not a part of your karma. Your karma is just to do your karma, which is to create, which is to write, yeah, which is to utilize your voice, your power, and, spread the message that you care about, right? So I don't even feel like looking at my notes because just, a beautiful stream of thought is flowing, right? So this reminds me about, oh, there's a little child over there. He'll be fine. Okay. So this reminds me about the myth that we are doing this to help others, right? So right now, when I'm sharing this, as much as I want to help you, as much as I want you to write your book, if you're struggling, I want you to not struggle. I want you to not stay stuck. I want you to be able to finish your book project. I'm going to stop saying that I help people write books. I'm not creating this content to help you. I'm creating this content because there is no other way for me. There is no other message that I'd rather talk about. And whether you like it or not, whether you want to receive it or not, and to what lengths and depths you want to go with consuming this information and implementing it is your business. But my business is to share what I really love talking about. That's it, right? Thank you, Sandra. Looks like yeah, it's blowing your mind. Good to hear, good to see. But thanks for the feedback. It really means a lot. So, and I have been living in this illusion. Like when I would see some amazing women create some amazing content and get some amazing engagement on their posts, I would tell myself, wow, she's smart. She's doing good content. She knows how to do content. But really, and then, I had this counter voice inside of me, which reminded me that it's not about her smartness. She's not smart about content. She's just so passionate about her work that the world cannot help but notice, right? So, yeah, you just have to be, you only have to share what you care about. And if I have been talking about this topic for the last 20-ish minutes, I am only doing this because I have made a promise to my thing that I will keep talking about you. I will keep spreading the word. I will just keep sharing. That's my business. That is all that is in my control. And how you receive it, whether or not you show me the hearts or the wows or the whatever, is your business. And when I just get out of your business, my life becomes so easy. There's fewer things to think about, which means there's more time and energy and space to think about what I care about. So, How's this going for you so far? I know that yeah, we're not in the actions yet, but this had to be said. And I think, yeah, the key is you will only implement as much as you're committed, like, and I had recently made a post. I will maybe tag the post in the comments later for your reading, but it's almost like a stubbornness, and I also did another post which I'm reminded of right now, that I refuse to critique myself. I refuse to judge myself. I refuse to stop myself from putting my work out there. And I refuse to think that they're judging me. Exactly, Sandra. Always speak your truth, right? And you will not speak your truth if it's a made up truth. If you think that, oh my God, in my business, this is what I should be saying. If you don't feel aligned with your, if it's not coming from your heart, if it's coming from your head, uh, there are the highest chances that you're not going to share it, because you're going to critique yourself, you're going to judge your work, and you're going to eventually edit it out, delete it out, and never post it. So yeah, just make it. Actions will be so easy and almost a no-brainer, effortless, when it's coming from the heart space, when there's no conflict in your heart, that this is what I want to talk. Okay? Yeah. Not the should, but I want to. The correct people get it. Critic will always condemn. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. And yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Everything that you're saying. So, what else? Yeah. So, I think, yeah, let's get straight into the doing now. Like we've done the mindset conversation. There was one more thing I wanted to share. I referred to two posts. One was about the I refuse, and the second one, I'm totally missing it, but I will post a link over here. I will post two links afterwards. I'm just going to take note so I remember. Right? So, yes, and I remember one more golden nugget. So, don't write your book because you want to help people. Write your book because there is no other thing that you might as well write about. Write your book because you know you have some treasures hidden inside you, and you want to put them out there for anyone who may or may not want it, right? So write with the expectation of, um, you know, indulging yourself in your message, like, that pleasure from writing, that pleasure from sharing, from, yeah, from making your message tangible, because once it's out there in words, it's tangible, it's pretty tangible, So write because you care about that. Do not write your book with the expectation that the world must buy it and read it, right? And even worse, that they must read your book from cover to cover. So, hey, I see there are 3 people watching me live. It always feels great if you can pop in a comment and say hello, so I know I'm speaking with some humans. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just talking to my computer. So, yeah, that was about helping, the attitude to helping. Because it just makes us arrogant sometimes, thinking that, hey, I've written a book and you don't even care to read it. So really, you have done no one a favor by writing your book. All you have done is used an opportunity to express yourself. So your book is, just be grateful that you have the freedom to express yourself. And when you do it, absolutely detached to any outcomes. And yes, strategically, we have to measure outcomes. We have to create an income plan and all those things. There's a fine line. So all those still stand true. We need to make our book writing exercise profitable, right? But when we start with the expectation that I'm going to write a book and then these 100 people are going to read it and then they're going to buy my coaching packages, that's not a great start. But if you just do it because there's nothing better there's nothing better that I'd rather do. There is nothing else that I'd rather do. This is the only way for me to share my truth, to speak my truth, to share this message. Then there is no way that the world won't notice it and get it and buy it and read it and purchase, really get deeper immerse deeper into the journey with you, right? Yeah, so thank you, Sandra. This is just validation that I'm speaking sense and it's relevant, right? And it has taken me, very, very honestly, it has taken me a long time to feel this, experience this, and be in this space. Because for the longest time, I remember staying hung upon what should I write next so that the world loves it, and then they book in a chat with me, and then they want to write a book, right? But when I let go of that protocol, and I'm like, Shilpa, just reflect. What is it that means, that truly holds meaning for you? What would you tell a friend for free? This is what I would tell a friend for free. So that's about helping. So please do not burden the world with your expectations that they must read your book. They will read it, however, if you do it without expectations, right? So yeah, that was all the mindset I needed to share for today. Now let's come to, just quickly exploring the tangibles, right? So let's talk about routine, because this class is about daily tasks. So when it comes to creating a healthy writer's routine, we want to explore it from 3 angles: when, how, and how much, right? So when will you write? How will you write? And how much will you write? So by when, again, and a lot of book coaches prescribe specifics, wake up at 4 in the morning and do a writing for the next 1 to 2 hours, or, write every night from 10 to 12 or whatever, right?
It's 2 o'clock.
That's Siri. But I would just like to recommend that you find out what's the best time and the place and the duration and the quantity that you want to write and how you want to write that suits your lifestyle. Okay. So for me, writing is pretty much part of my business. So I don't have a separate time for writing. Sometimes when I'm feeling extremely extra inspired, then I do write in the morning or in the night. But for me, writing happens during office hours, which is 9:30 to 3 when I'm working in the library. So where I'm connecting with people on Facebook, I'm writing, I'm doing my video work and all the things, right? That's about writing routine. I wanted to share with you some key people that I do follow, and I'm going to write their names here. Again, there is no point that I share with you in depth their writing routine because that's just going to be a sample. But these are great writers which have inspired me, right? So Neil Gaiman and Elizabeth Gilbert. There's so many actually. There's Tim Ferriss, right? So these three people, I can think off the top of my head. I once remember Neil Gaiman, hearing Neil Gaiman in a podcast interview where he said he has a rule. He sits by the window. He sits by a very scenic window on his laptop, and when he's staring at the screen, he is I think he is only allowed to I think he's only allowed to stare at the screen, but he's not allowed to stare outside the window or something like that. I'm actually missing it, but I will come back and maybe, this is great revision for me. Neil Gaiman window story. So I think he's either only allowed to stare outside the window or he's not allowed to stare out the window, which means he's meant to be continuously typing something or the other, even if it's trash, right? Elizabeth Gilbert, I love her writing, and I know she has created a very, cozy writing corner in her home, but I'm not so familiar of her writing routine because I've not researched that. I've just researched her. I've read her writing a lot. Tim Ferriss, I know, has this rule that says that he writes 2 pages, 2 crappy pages a day. So, what he's doing is he is just taking off the pressure of having to be perfect in the first go, right? So, until he has to write 2 crappy pages every single day. Now, how easy is it to meet the benchmark of crappy, right? You can write anything and it can be crappy and you will pass the test. So, on a given day, if he's feeling slightly anxious or frustrated or fearful or, procrastinated, he is not allowed to do or express any of his dramas or spiral downwards until he has written his 2 crappy pages for the day. So when he's feeling an emotional challenge in his day, the one thing that he will check in with himself is, have you done the work? Have you written 2 crappy pages for today? And most likely, if he's feeling crappy, that is because he's not done the work. That is because he's not written his 2 crappy pages for the day. But when he has done the work, he does not have to, he doesn't find the need to check in because he's done the work and his ego feels grounded and his ego feels, okay, we're taken care of. The daily ritual has been done. So that is Tim Ferriss's recommendation. Hey, Aniket. Hi. So nice to have you. So really, a good writing routine needs you to make a commitment, and this is about decision. So let me share with you something more about mindset, right? Now, what happens is when you do not have a ritual, what it means is every single day when you wake up, your ego is like this hyperactive child, right? And the ego needs and loves certainty, okay? So when you don't have a ritual, a decided ritual, your ego is going to nag you, like, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? What are we doing? Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? what are we doing today? So the ego wants to know, what are we doing today? The ego cannot stay silent, right? And what happens is then your mind has to think and come up with an answer like, okay, good question. What are we doing? Should we write today or should we not write today? Oh no, that's not good. If you're not writing today, you're not living up to your promise. Oh, but I'm so tired. I have nothing to write. I'm at loss for words. Uh, I'm not inspired. I'm tired. I have to do this. I have to do that. Am I good at all? So, like you have potential energy inside you, and just because you have not decided upon a ritual, you're wasting this energy in the should I, should I not, should I, should I not, should I, should I not, right? And that's just one sec, guys. Yep. So when you don't have a ritual, this is what is happening. And this is true for all areas of life, not only when you're trying to write a book. This is even if you are going to your day job every day, right? Do you have a ritual that grounds you and that tells your ego that every morning, if I have brushed my teeth, that means I'm alive. That means things are going to be okay. Of course, brushing we all do, but maybe a small prayer or meditation, right? These could be also rituals. But in the context of becoming an author, it's writing, right? So again, when making the ritual, don't go by any external rules, shoulds, should nots. Go by what feels really good and practical and doable for you with a little bit of a stretch, right? If you stay too comfortable, oh, I'm going to write 1 page a week. There's nothing wrong in that, but maybe you have the potential to do more, right? So, yeah, maybe you can just start with committing that I'm going to write 3 times a week. I'm going to write 2 pages 3 times a week. Or I'm going to write 500 words 3 times a week. Or I'm going to write 1,000 words 3 times a week. So there I've just given you some great examples. Bear with me because my throat is drying up. So yeah. I would love to hear from you. What is it that you are getting? What are you loving? What are you learning? Right? And if you have not watched these already, in the last, like, from the 1st of August till date, there are multiple different videos where I have actually taught how to map out an entire book, then how to break it down into chapters, how to map out your chapters, and then how to elaborate and expand on that outline on the chapter map so that you have a fully fleshed out chapter, right? So yeah, basically you have the methodology. So, and we've done the mindset work now. Again, it's not that I've not spoken these things in the past. So you've got the mindset, you've got the strategy, the methodology, and now we're making it really, really concrete and making promises to take action, right? So there's this one very beautiful quote by Julia Cameron in her book, The Artist's Way, where she says, "Great creator, I will take care of the quantity, you take care of the quality," right? Which means she is surrendering, and she's completely surrendering to God, but not without taking action. So she says, "Dear God, I will keep showing up on the page every single day. I will write every single day. So 30 days later, you will have 30 writings. You will have 30 writing exercises from me, right? 100 days later, you will have 100 times that I have written. After a year, you will have 365 times that I have written, right? I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to do the basic work, which is right. Can you please take care of the quality? Now, I don't know whether the divine intervenes in this or not. I'd like to believe it does. But haven't we heard that practice makes perfect? And when you're just practicing daily, the art of writing every single day, even if you write 2 crappy pages every single day, don't you believe that 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days later, you're going to be a better and more proficient writer, right? So that's what it takes. So in terms of your actions, again, this is just a tiny part of the daily tasks for writing a book. So I would say an author needs to maintain 2 forts, right? One is to write, and another is to market. Market and sell, I'm clubbing that very broadly together. So you need to write and you need to sell. Wow, thank you, Sandra. This is all. Like, if I have moved you to make that promise to yourself that you will write daily, that's all, right? So another beautiful exercise which I want to leave you with, which this class will not be complete without, is the activity of mapping out your weekly number of hours, and that is 168 hours, 168 hours, right? So 24 times 7 equals 168 hours, right? So in a week, each one of us is given 168 hours, right? That's a lot of time. So how dare we say that we do not have time? We have the same time. And as cliche as it sounds, I'm feeling this like really deeply now in the context of book writing. If you keep on saying, I want to write a book, but you never put time aside for it, then you're either not serious in saying that you want to write a book, or you're not serious in what you're doing with your day, right? So you're either lying there or you're lying here. Either you don't want to write a book, or you have extra time, you have spare time in your day, right? So how you prioritize, how you map out these 168 hours is a very, very potent, very eye-opening, very, very powerful exercise. And for some, it might make them feel very suffocated, because then you're being held accountable by yourself for how you're spending every single hour. And if you know how a lot of people lead their lives in today's distracted world of social media, one might just pick up the phone and a few scrolls later, it might be 60 minutes gone. So when you map out your 168 hours, there is no time for that. There's no time for the scroll, right? What else? I'm very, very emotional and inspired right now. So 168 hours, right? I don't have my physically done exercise on paper handy right now, but I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to just type a few examples of, here are some examples to kick off the 168-hour planning exercise, right? if you are aiming to sleep for 7 hours, which I have, so I have mapped out to sleep from 10 p.m. till 5 p.m., right? Start with, like the basics that you know is going to happen. Sleep 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. is 7 hours into 7 is equal to 49 hours, right? Balance is 168. What is 168 minus 49? Is 119, right? And then morning chores plus after school. Actually, even before that. 5 to 6:30 a.m. That makes it, and assuming that you are doing it 7 days a week, right, is equal to 10.5. So the balance is 108.5. So if you can read this comment of mine, this is exactly how I have broken down my 168 hours into, when I'm doing what. So yeah, do this. It's life changing, and I am not even exaggerating, So in my 168-hour exercise, there are, there's 9:30 to 3 p.m. 5 times a day for work hours. And now it's a too big a segment to make productive. So then on a separate sheet of paper, I have broken down how I'm going to put to good use the hours that I have, right? Yeah, and then it has just given me the visibility that how dare I say I don't have time for my daughter. I cannot say that, because now I know that, what are you doing? Because at 3 p.m. we pack up our work at the library and we go to pick up our daughter, and we kind of, by the time we are home, it's 4. So 3 to 4 is transit time, 5 times a week. So I know 5 hours gone there, right? But 4 p.m. onwards, and I don't start my laptop again when I get back home. So 4 p.m. onwards, until 7:30 when she's in bed, those 3.5 hours, I cook dinner, I, do a bit of chores, cleaning, laundry, and I have her around me all the time. So there's enough time for stories, for cuddles, for play, for dinner, for family, right? Most of our lives are divided by wealth, health, and relationships. Wow, okay. Hmm? Alrighty. So, yeah, I would love to hear more. What do you mean by divided? I'm slightly, trying to make sense of that. Divided by health, wealth, and relationships. But yeah, like these are the key areas of our life, right? So the daily tasks, literally, guys, like this masterclass could have finished within the first minute of starting it. The daily tasks for writing a book are to write, you know. So identify the place, like identify where and when you're going to write, and make a commitment of a unit that Is the lighting gone? The lighting's a bit funny, but never mind. So make a commitment of the unit. Like, is it going to be 500 words? Is it going to be 1,000 words? Is it going to be one chapter? Or is it going to be 60 minutes? But that's a bit tricky when you say 60 minutes. It does not include social media, and it does not include staring at the blank screen, for endless hours, or going into the rabbit hole of daydreaming. So being present and allowing yourself to write whatever comes to mind, just churn out thoughts so that, hey, Swapna, so good to have you here. So again, guys, so it's time to wrap up. I've said it all. The daily tasks of a writer are to write, make a commitment about what, when, how much they're going to write, and always have karma, in the back of the mind. Like, am I doing my prescribed duties? Am I doing what the highest self of me would do? Or am I operating according to my whims and my fancies? And am I writing something that I deeply care about? Or am I writing to please other people? When you clear that intention, when you get super clear on the purpose, on your intention, writing is going to be just a byproduct, right? So that's it for now. It was great. Thank you for joining, Sandra, Swapna, and all the others who did. Aniket, Mayur. Yay! Swapna is saying, I love my daily writing ritual. Yes, I do too. So keep doing that. And of course, there's another aspect of the writing, which is the marketing, the selling, the, making the exercise profitable. But we'll do a separate class on that, right? Because there's so much more we have to cover. Okay. Keep joining me every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Adelaide time. Okay. You will see I'll keep sending the invites, but even if you don't get the invite, you can pop this as a permanent appointment between you and me, and I will see you then. And I will anyways keep seeing you every single day. Okay. Until tomorrow, see you, stay good, and keep writing. Bye.